You're a programmer of any sort, you've probably heard of Vercel, unless you've been living under a rock, that is. Vercel is a platform designed to make deploying your apps a breeze. Who wouldn't love the idea of simply pushing your code to GitHub and having it automatically scaled, optimized, and served to the world? VERCEL is primarily used for deploying NextJS and SvelteKit applications, as both of these JavaScript frameworks were created by Vercel themselves. They also offer unique in-code features if you use their platform, which is why Vercel hath become the go-to choice for many developers. They're like the iPhone of deployment platforms, sleek, ridiculously popular, and with a thriving ecosystem. However, just like how you need to take out a second mortgage to afford the latest iPhone, Vercel can get pretty pricey, pretty fast. It's great for smaller sites, but as you scale up, you don't have control over the costs. There are many horror stories about people being absurdly charged by them. And that's not all. With Vercel, you're only paying for the front end, whereas when it comes to back-end or databases, you'll need to pay for other services like Supabase, Clerk, Auth0, and so on. So, overall, running a site can get pretty pricey if you don't fit into their free tier. And that's why I like calling this the Vercel stack. Because if you choose to use Vercel, then you need to choose another backend, database, and whatnot. But what if I told you there's a better way? What if I told you that you can self-host your own deployment platform with the option to deploy your database and all the extensions you need for a fraction of the cost? Well, that's Coolify. Coolify is an open-source alternative that you can self-host on your own or a VPS server. It's almost like Vercel, where you can give it a GitHub repo, and it will set everything up for you in seconds, making sure everything works. But before I tell you more about it, let me tell you why self-hosting is better. For starters, you have full control over your code and your data. You're not reliant on a third-party platform, and you can customize everything to your heart's content. Plus, you're not locked into a proprietary ecosystem, which means you can switch to a different platform if you need to. And let's not forget about the cost savings. With self-hosting, you can save up to 90% of your deployment costs, which is a pretty big deal. But now, let's come back to Coolify. When hosting Coolify, if you use it efficiently, you can actually host your sites for basically free. Most cloud providers allow you a small VM for free, and you can get away with it. It solely depends on your use case, and even if you pay for it, you can get away with all of this for less than the price of Vercel's Pro plan. Anyway, Coolify is compatible with multiple languages, has Git integration just like Vercel, and can manage everything from SSL certificates to DB backups. It also has some analytical tools that can help you manage your server more efficiently. But that's enough talk. Let's get it installed and check out how to use it and how it performs. If you're using a VPS, SSH into your server and follow the steps I'm about to tell you next. First, you'll need to get Docker installed if you don't have it already. To get Docker installed, head to the Docker documentation, copy the first command, and paste it into your terminal. Then, copy the second command and paste it into your terminal. After this, Docker will be installed on your computer. Now, go to Coolify's GitHub page. Now, scroll down and copy the command and paste it into your terminal. This will get Coolify installed on your server. Once installed, you'll see this message on your screen. Go ahead and open it on your browser. Make sure port 8000 is open for this to be accessible. Now, once you open it, you'll see this page. You'll need to create an account So enter your details and get signed up. Click on Skip Onboarding at the bottom, and you'll see this screen. Now, Coolify is working just as expected. Now, let's add a project and check it out. Go to the Projects tab and click on the Add button. Then, enter the project name you want to refer to the project as. Now, inside the project, you'll see a production environment by default. You can also add other environments if needed. Anyway, click on the production environment, and you'll see the Resources page. You'll need to add a new resource here and choose what you want to add. I'll be adding this GitHub project called RoomGPT. It's open source and public, so you can try deploying it as well. Anyway, choose the public repository here and click on the server you want it to be deployed on. In my case, it's the local server, so I'll use that. Click on it, and then click on the standalone Docker option. Now, enter the repo URL here and click Check Repo. Once done, click on the Continue button. Now, you'll see this page. Click on the Deploy button, and your site will start deploying, and logs will be shown on screen. Once deployed, you'll see a success page. Go back to the home page. Here, you'll see the domain it has deployed it on. It uses a temporary SSLib domain to deploy it by default, but you can add your domain here as well by just adding a comma after the SSLib domain. Anyway, if you open this domain, you'll see that your site is accessible and working just as expected. Pretty cool. Now that this is done, let me tell you how you can set up your database if needed. Just go to the project we just created and click on the production environment. Now, we can add a new resource here. Click on Add Resource. Now, you'll see that there are tons of things you can use, and there are multiple databases you can use. Let's set up MySQL here. Now, select the server and destination, and you'll see that MySQL is now installed, and you can see all the credentials for it in here. You can use these credentials to connect your application with the database. Okay, so now this is done. Let me also tell you about the other features that are available here. The first one is servers. Here, you can add other servers that you can manage from this one panel. The next one is sources, where you can add your private Git sources. There's also another feature where you can add storage buckets and connect it with your applications without any hassle. You can also set up shared environment variables here. There are tons of features here. It's better than Vercel for advanced configuration. I really like this one, and it will be really useful for people like me who like self-hosting and want to reduce their Vercel costs. Pretty cool.